Good evening. I'm Shannon Newth. Thanks for joining us. Let's get the latest now from the coronavirus task force here in Montana. First, 209 Montanans have recovered from COVID-19. We have 5 new cases since yesterday, bringing the statewide total to 404. Cascade County holds steady at 13 cases. 7 people have died, and on the map you see which counties those are in by that darker red purple color. Something new from the website, there's now a distinction between active and total hospitalizations. Right now, 21 people are hospitalized from coronavirus complications. Toole County has been one of the harder hit areas, but they've held steady for a couple of days now with 26 cases and 3 deaths. The Toole County Health Department announced they'll be hosting a Facebook Live tomorrow at noon with Incident Command and healthcare leaders. You can message TCHD or Marias Medical Center with questions ahead of time. Well, there's now a website where you can track the status of your stimulus check. The IRS Get My Payment website tells people when to expect the money and if the IRS needs more information before sending a check. It also shows if checks have been delivered or deposited into a bank account. We have a story with more information and the link right now at KRTV.com. Well, as Congress quickly acts to approve a second round of legislation to prop up the economy and offset the pandemic's impacts, Montana senators differ on how successful the first shot of stimulus money has been. As MTN's Dennis Bragg reports, Senators Jon Tester and Steve Daines agree more help will be needed to get through this.
With checks and business loans starting to arrive from the multi-trillion-dollar CARES Act, Senators Steve Daines and Jon Tester are anxious to get that money into checking accounts. However, they view the success of that rollout differently.
Yeah, I think we're going to need more help and more assistance, but it's been tremendous to see the outpouring of support that we've already experienced with these small businesses across Montana. These small businesses had these gut-wrenching decisions. They literally had to shutter their doors, lay off their employees, and working with these local banks who have rushed quickly to help these small businesses. It's a great story providing help here one by one and getting these employees back on the payroll. There's been some great wins already.
What's kind of your impression on the rollout and trying to get some of this help for individuals anyway?
I don't want to be too harsh, but the truth is that we're in the middle of a pandemic here, that this money was put forth 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Time flies, but the fact of the matter is businesses can't survive on their good looks. They have to have money.
Tester says implementation of the program has been problematic, saying the Small Business Administration is very, very slow to get loan details to banks, which he says need time for their methodical process. Daines believes there are lessons to be learned that will improve arrival of the next measures.
We'll take a first look at what worked and what didn't work in this $2.2 trillion package. So whatever did work, well, let's double down on that. If something didn't work, let's change it and make it better for the next round.
Time is a ticking, and a lot of these businesses, they don't have time on their side. So we've got to get that money out. $2.2 trillion is a lot of money. And quite frankly, it was set to really help the hospitality business right out of the chute. And so to be still talking about this in the middle of April is not acceptable. Let's just put it that way.
Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
Well, today, April 15th, is usually tax day. This year, the federal government extended the filing deadline to July 15th. The idea is to help ease any financial burden caused by the coronavirus. A recent Harris poll shows that about 43% of Americans are taking advantage of that extra time. And you might want to file sooner rather than later if you think you're getting a refund. Also during this time, watch out for scams in your mailbox.
And what we could tell the public is if you get something in the mail, make sure that you're doing your verification and homework online. And if it doesn't look right, don't respond to it until you've talked to somebody that can help you verify that.
And Lieutenant Otto says the IRS will not be giving you personally a call. All of their communication goes through the mail. You can help. You can head to our website for more information on that. Well, schools all over the country have had to adapt to the challenges of remote learning, but the task can be even more daunting for rural communities with high poverty rates. MTN's Tom Wiley shows us how one school system on the High Line is thinking outside the box to keep students engaged and on track.
Earlier this week, the staff at Box Elder Public Schools posted a video where they tried something a little different.
On me, brother, when you need a hand.
We all need somebody
to lean on
me when you're not strong.
results were mixed.
We all have sorrow,
but if we are wise.
But the message and the thought behind it were loud and clear.
No, we just like to do silly, fun things, and we're always trying to engage our older kids mostly because it's a little bit harder to engage them when not in the building. We have a really good relationship between the students and staff. We just try to find any means necessary.
Every school has faced challenges adapting to the new reality of remote learning in the time of COVID-19, but the obstacles on the Rocky Boys reservation can be more pronounced. Priority number 1 was making sure hundreds of students still had access to meals. Number 2 was ensuring students and staff were following CDC guidelines, and priority number 3 was revamping educational services, and that's where the Box Elder staff had to get creative.
Because of the high poverty rates that we deal with, rural community that we serve, student engagement was low, especially with our older students. So a couple of our teachers have taken the lead on some challenge-based learning projects where, you know, it's not your traditional textbook and worksheets type of education.
Through Apple's Connect Ed grant, which provides each student with an iPad, the new curriculum has taken on many forms.
We can't keep doing what we've always done because this is a totally different scenario. Because if kids weren't doing or were struggling with getting work done in the classroom, they're going to struggle even more outside of the classroom. So we're just trying to get them to think outside the box a little bit. A math portion, a language arts portion, a science portion, a history portion, Cree language and culture portion, and a physical education portion. And now we're having the teachers do it, so it's kind of like to show them, you know, we're putting ourselves out there and doing it, so now we want you to do it also.
So behind this is a group of passionate educators that want to see their students succeed and will try anything to make it happen.
Having kids open up opportunities to come out in a different way, it's been a pretty eye-opening, I guess, and I'm extremely proud of our staff, you know, and it's just a great group of people to be a part of.
Tom Wiley, MTN News.
Our Storm Tracker weather team has been tracking some chilly temperatures and off and on snow showers throughout the day. Brandon Michaels joins us now. Brandon, some of us saw more than just snow falling this evening.
Yeah, you may have actually heard what sounded like a little bit of hail falling earlier this evening. It actually ended up being some graupel, which is like what you're seeing here, some pellets of snow that fall, and some of them are actually fairly large, pea to even almost dime-sized pellets of snow. Definitely not a damaging event, but something kind of unique that we usually see around this time of year. So thank you very much for sending in that shot of all that graupel on the ground. Shouldn't see too much more of that, though, through the night tonight, at least not in Great Falls. You can see that one little shower to our north, so we might see a little bit more snow, but the heavier precipitation now moving on down to the south toward the Little Belts through the night tonight. I say maybe a couple more snowflakes here and there, but nothing really significant. Down to about 19 degrees for our overnight low with a north wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tomorrow, nicer weather. We're not tracking any more snow showers. In fact, we're not really tracking too much in the way of cloud cover either. Nice and sunny, and with that sunshine, we actually do get a little boost in our temperatures. We at least make it into the 40s tomorrow, and good news from there. We've got even nicer weather in the forecast for Friday. We'll tell you what to expect coming up later.
Thanks, Brandon. On May 8th, 23 days from now, absentee ballots will be sent to all registered Montana voters in the state's first all-mail ballot statewide election. That means Montanans will start voting in just over 3 weeks for the June 2nd primary election. While the coronavirus outbreak and its impacts have dominated the news, here at MTN, we'd also like to help you prepare to vote in this upcoming election. So today, we're launching the first of a series of stories on the contested primary races for statewide office. Here's MTN Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison.
Greetings from the Capitol. The primary election often doesn't get much attention from voters, but this year it should, with hotly contested races up and down the ticket, from governor to U.S. House to Attorney General, to name a few. Today we start out with a Republican primary for Secretary of State, which has plenty of candidates. The Secretary of State is Montana's chief election officer. It's an open seat this year because incumbent Republican Corey Stapleton is running for the U.S. House. Only one Democrat is in the race, State Senator Bryce Bennett of Missoula. But 6 Republicans are running, and GOP voters will choose their nominee in the primary to oppose Mr. Bennett. Those Republicans are State Supreme Court Clerk Bowen Greenwood, Stapleton's Chief Deputy Christy Jacobson, Public Service Commissioner Brad Johnson, Another Johnson, Kurt Johnson of Missoula, State Representative Forrest Mandeville of Columbus, and State Senate President Scott Sales of Bozeman. Among Republicans, Senator Sales has raised the most money from donors and says he has the support of more than 100 legislators and former legislators. He says his experience in the legislature and his background in outfitting and agriculture make him a well-rounded fit for an office that also sits on the State Land Board. Mandeville also knows his legislative work on election issues and his experience running his own business. He's a land use consultant in Stillwater County.
I'm the only one in the race who knows what it's like to depend on your own small business for your paycheck. Everyone says they're going to be a friend to business, but with me, I won't only be a friend, I'll be a peer.
The Secretary of State office also handles registration for businesses. Jacobson says she has experience where it counts. In the office, she'd like to win.
The thing that separates me from all my opponents is that I've been doing the job and I'm the most qualified to do the job. And I'm running for this office. I'm not job hopping.
But she's not the only candidate that can make that claim. Brad Johnson served as Secretary of State from 2005 to 2009 and says he'd love to step right back into the job. He says he'd emphasize election security, including photo ID for voting and better signature verification for absentee ballots. Greenwood also worked in the office as press secretary under Johnson. He says he knows the job well too, and that he'd ensure fair, even-handed administration of election laws and encourage voter registration.
When I worked in the Secretary of State's office, we used to have a voter registration program, and there would be people from the Secretary of State's office at county fairs or at other gatherings registering people to vote. Why not? Why are we not still doing that?
The other Johnson on the ballot, Kurt Johnson, has no visible campaign and no contact information on file. In this crowded race, name recognition may be at a premium as voters cast their ballots. But with 6 candidates in the race, anyone can win with a small percentage of the vote. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
A group seeking to put marijuana legalization on Montana's November ballot is now suing the state. They say they should be able to collect signatures electronically during the coronavirus emergency. Leaders with New Approach Montana say now is not the right time to send volunteers out to gather signatures. Earlier this year, New Approach submitted a pair of measures aimed at legalizing marijuana in Montana. Initiative 190 would set up a recreational marijuana system with a 20% tax on sales. Constitutional Amendment 118 would allow the state to set the minimum buying age at 21. In order to qualify for the ballot, CI 190 must receive 25,000 signatures from registered Montana voters, and CI 118 must receive 50,000. New Approach filed a lawsuit in Lewis and Clark County asking to temporarily suspend some state laws to allow them to collect electronic signatures. They want the deadline for collecting signatures to be moved back from June 19th to August 3rd. Leaders say they have a contract with the company that can verify electronic signatures. They say the state already accepts those signatures in many other uses. Well, it's one of the busiest times of the year for Montana farmers and ranchers, and the State Department of Livestock is trying to guide them through some challenging times presented by COVID-19. We'll have more next in Montana Ag.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on KRTV, Montana's news leader.
Welcome back. Spring is a busy time of year for Montana ranchers with activities like branding, pregnancy checking, and shearing. During COVID-19, agriculture has been declared an essential business. As Russell Nemitz reports in our Montana Ag Network feature, the Montana Department of Livestock has some guidelines they're asking ranchers to consider this year.
Well, for Montana's livestock industry, activities like branding, pregnancy checking, and shearing are absolutely essential, but cannot be done alone. Mike Honeycutt is the Montana Department of Livestock's executive officer and says COVID-19 has certainly brought some unique challenges this year.
We realize that it might be best to put out some guidance to get people thinking about how to do those the best they can and safely in the context of what we're dealing with the virus that's out there, and also to provide reassurance to those county health departments and others who may have concerns about these activities carrying forward.
He says they're asking ranchers to strongly consider implementation of several guidelines set forth by the Montana Department of Public Health.
I think first and foremost is, trying to consider how many people you need to do the job and do it safely, and trying to have those people there. A lot of these events, you gather family members and others, maybe more people than you need. But for this year, consider trying to limit the number of people to actually who's essential to being able to get the job done. Also being considerate of those that would normally help you that have underlying conditions or maybe at greater risk of having issues related to COVID-19, and trying to keep those people away.
Andy says he wants to make it clear that these are just recommendations, not mandates.
These are guidance, they're recommendations, they're not mandates, and we just hope that people will think a little bit more as they carry into these activities this year, and hopefully this is a one-time thing we have to deal with in our careers.
In Billings, Russell Nemitz, MTN News.
Well, we're tracking a nice warm-up in the forecast, and actually another nice warm-up as we head into next week. We'll have the forecast coming up.
Thanks. Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with meteorologist Brandon Michaels.
We had those kind of on and off snow showers through the day today, and they left us with kind of an interesting sunset, at least here in Great Falls. This is a shot from Daryl. Thanks for sending this one, and you can see just trying to peek through the clouds, that setting sun there. A really nice shot. There we had some beautiful shots on the U.S. Bank iCam earlier too. Obviously a little bit too dark to see those now, but kind of a beautiful end to the day, although it was kind of an active end with all those snow showers. Our weather, though, going to be getting quite a bit less active as we head through the forecast. Big area of high pressure. We've been tracking this through the day. It's still well to our north. It's really just kind of forming to our north there in Canada, but it's going to be slowly shifting down to the south. And we can actually already see in northern Montana not too much more going on. It actually looks like maybe even a little bit of clearing, which will, if that is the case, allow temperatures to fall a little bit more quickly there. But we're definitely still tracking occasional snow showers, mainly to the south of Great Falls here this evening. So Future Track actually doing a good job picking up on those. In general, it's going to be along and kind of adjacent to the higher terrain where we're seeing those snow showers through the evening. So toward the Little Belt, southern Cascade County, and then kind of running up the Rocky Mountain front. Could see a couple more snow showers through the evening. I do think we're going to hang on to at least some clouds to start the day off tomorrow. By the afternoon tomorrow, as that big high pressure settles in, that's all that sinking air that gets rid of the cloud cover, and we're left with nice sunny skies. And with the sunshine, we're actually expecting a nice little warm up for tomorrow as well. Definitely on the chilly side right now. It's 26 in Great Falls, 30 in Fort Benton, 26 right now in Chester, and a little bit warmer to the east, 31 in both Malta and Glasgow. Jordan coming in at 33 degrees through the night tonight. Temperatures falling off a little bit more. 21 for Jordan, 20 in Glasgow, 16 up in Scobie, 17 for Havre, and 14 for the overnight low tonight in Lewistown. Through the day today, we do get a warm up with that sunshine, but it's not much of a warm up. We can see temperatures are still kind of struggling. We're not tapped into that really warm air at this point. 32 by noon, 36 by 2, 39 by 4, and I think with the additional daytime heating as we head into that sunnier afternoon, we're going to get up to about 42 degrees for the high temperature in Great Falls, which is definitely below average for this time of year, actually more than 10 degrees below average. So still on the chilly side, even though it's better than what we saw today. 43 for Fort Benton and Chester as well, 38 for Hayes, and 44 for the high temperature tomorrow in Wolf Point. Winds, not a huge factor. So we're going to be sunny. We're going to be a little bit warmer. We're not going to be all that windy. It's not a terrible day for our Thursday. Some spots with wind gusts over 10 miles per hour, but most of us we're dealing with those relatively calm winds, mainly out of the west to southwest. But by Friday, we do see some changes in that wind gust forecast. You can see 10 to 20 mile per hour wind gusts, not a huge factor off to the east, but the farther west you go, you see those 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts. You get a little bit closer to the Rocky Mountain front, gusts of 30 to even 40 miles per hour, and no surprise, those are going to bring in some warmer temperatures as they usually do for us. 56 for Great Falls on Friday, 52 in Cut Bank, 57 in Harlem, and 61 down in Jordan. So we do get a nice little warm up. Unfortunately, there is going to be a little interruption in those warmer temperatures here. We'll talk about that right now. Clearing for tomorrow, a little bit warmer, significantly warmer, albeit a little bit breezy for our Friday with mostly sunny skies. Then we cool off a little bit. Another shot of cooler air pushing in for Saturday. Along that cooler air, a little bit of rain or snow is going to be possible. And then we really start to warm up for the remainder of the forecast. 56, mix of sun and clouds on Sunday, lots of sunshine on Monday, and temperatures Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in the mid-60s. Shannon?
Thanks, Brandon. Up next, you won't want to miss a look inside a classroom's virtual call with Mark Cuban.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on KRTV, Montana's news leader.
Thanks for staying with us. History students in Fairfield were treated to quite the guest speaker this morning. Our Isaiah Dunk has more.
Fairfield social studies teacher Mike Schmidt is constantly on the hunt for the next guest speaker to supplement his lessons. And today that guest speaker happened to be Mark Cuban, owner of the NBA's Dallas Mavericks. Cuban spoke to Schmidt's U.S. history class via Zoom on Wednesday, answering student questions ranging from the pandemic to his business experience and reading suggestions, perhaps even a long-shot run at the presidency.
Gabe, you want to be my vice president?
Yeah, I got you.
Done, done, and done. You got a jump shot?
Schmidt said Cuban was a timely guest during the COVID-19 pandemic for a variety of reasons. First, his stature as an owner in the league that was at the forefront of shutting things down.
Now, obviously, this one, I wanted to talk to somebody who is dealing with the pandemic just like our kids are. You know, his NBA season, his team, the Mavericks, got shut down. Our spring season looks like it's going to be shut down, or at least we're missing half of it already. And so I just wanted somebody, you know, a different opinion, perspective that the kids would listen to, that they can maybe find value in.
Schmidt added that bringing in Cuban was especially helpful in keeping his students engaged in a time of remote learning.
You know, one of the first things, in my opinion, that we have to do is we just have to put the kids at ease that things are going to be okay, and that we're going to move forward through this. And so I think absolutely, like, bringing him in keeps them interested in what's going on, because it's very easy to sit at home, you know, and not really engage yourself with your online learning. And so it was fun, and just a real good atmosphere for our kids to get involved with him.
In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN News.
All right, stay with us. We'll have a final look at your forecast right after this.
Welcome back. Nicer weather in the forecast for tomorrow. We are going to start off, I think, with some cloud cover fairly early in the day. A little bit chilly as you head out the door, but skies are going to be clearing as we head through the afternoon. Going to see lots of sunshine by the mid to late afternoon. Temperature a little bit warmer than today.
All right, but what a beautiful evening, too. Hopefully people had a chance to look at the sunset when it was snowing, and just kind of
that sun
really unique
shining
sky.
Through the snow showers. It was unique.
And the
for
grapple.
Sure. The grapple.
Yes.
Can't forget the grapple.
All of that tonight. All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Montana This Morning comes your way starting at 5 a.m. and we'll see you back here tomorrow evening.